Yeah, so I mean, instead of reinventing the wheel, you could go this route. I left my pipes at home, PVC. I've I built it recently, the XYZ axis, so I can show the right hand rule in action. It's just every time I need it, I know exactly where it is, right on top of the wall unit. It looks great, just not here. So instead of pulling up GeoGebra, I'll just kind of make reference to this. But if I'm looking for I cross K, that's the x-axis against the z-axis. Right? So if you were to just kind of imagine, I guess, I mean, I guess I could just do a quick sketch. I mean, I don't think you really need pipes in order to figure this out, but the idea is that you should be pointing your index finger in the direction of the first entry in your cross product, middle finger in the direction of the second entry, and then wherever your thumb is naturally going is where your resultant vector would go. So again, physically, I don't have what it takes, but you know, if I were going K to I, it would be perfect. I got it. Coming out of the paper in the direction of positive J. That's useful information, right? Because I to K is negative J. It is the negative uh, anti-commutative property. So if I know, like, if I can't physically point in the direction I want to, if I can only go index finger to K with middle finger to I, which points me in the opposite direction of where I want to go, then I would know that if I were physically able to switch my perspective, then my thumb would be pointing in the opposite direction. So I could just kind of logically make that deduction. Um, Either that, or you're like, all right, there we are. You can't see it, but I can actually see I can see the lines through the paper. You know. So, yep, it's point. Trust me, it's pointing towards the whiteboard. So, you know, you can get it that way too. But please don't lift up your papers in the middle of a test for the purpose of doing that, because the whole class is going to see what's written on the other side of it. Like that student last semester. And most of the test, observing the quality of his work while his test was in the vertical position. Well, skewed, kind of. I don't know. Maybe he's got like an astigmatism or something. So, I mean, you can only kind of see it on an angle. But the guy adjacent to him had a great line of sight. So, they didn't do well. Anyway, so either you're getting it from the right-hand rule or you're getting it from the list that you wrote out in your notes, because again, open note test. So negative J.
Right. So what's the most creative variant of cheating you've ever caught or observed?
Well, there there were a few that I mean, creative. We can kind of define maybe in different ways. Um, I'll say unique. The one, I mean, I might have told some of these before, but one student asked if they could listen to music during a test. And I was like, yeah, sure, I like to listen to some music, so whatever. And I have no excuse for this because I had been teaching for like a decade at this point, so I should have known better. Student wasn't listening to music; they were listening to my YouTube channel, so that was kind of a problem. Um, the TI Inspire, the student had all my notes downloaded on the Inspire and was referencing it throughout the test. Let's see, what else? One student I actually caught. He had a cheat sheet during a test where you're not supposed to have a cheat sheet, and I guess he thought I wasn't looking, but I don't know if anybody's seen The Hunt for Red October. Great movie. It's like on my Mount Rushmore of movies. But there's there's a scene in it, the Crazy Ivan. So it's the U.S. submarine against the Soviet submarine, and what they were saying is that every now and then, in order to see, to catch, red-handed, any sub that's behind the Soviet sub, that Soviet captain will do a Crazy Ivan, which is a 180 turn, like a spontaneous 180 turn. And what that would do is force the sub behind it to basically slam on the brakes and cause cavitation and basically make a lot of noise in the water. And so I do that during tests. I've always done that during tests. It doesn't always look like I notice what's going on, but I do generally. But then what I'll do is I'll Crazy Ivan, and I always catch somebody because it's the reaction of the individual that I'm looking for. And so the reaction of this individual was just priceless. So he didn't think I was looking. I was, and so I did a Crazy Ivan, and I always do that with a cup of coffee or a beverage. Like Crazy Ivan. If I have something to eat, it's even better because then I look like kind of a lion looking over like his pride. So the student had, I mean, he wrote so small on his cheat sheet that he couldn't make out what he had written. So he was holding it up to the sunlight to try to make it out. And then he saw me Crazy Ivan. He goes, because this is the least suspicious movement ever. And I was like, Paul, see me after class. He's like, why? I'm like, all right, whatever. So that was a good one. I don't think what else. There had to be more. I mean, there's obviously the student who went to the bathroom 7 times during a test that had 7 questions. The student who left their notes in the bathroom, different student, left their notes in the bathroom. And I wouldn't have picked up on this, but another student told me about it. He's like, so-and-so is leaving his notes in the bathroom and then going to the bathroom during the test, referencing the notes and using that to cheat. And I'm like, oh, wow, okay. So ever since then, I've had to do a kind of a walk around, check the bathrooms. Yeah. I didn't understand it. And also, it's like, so think of it this way. You're going to the bathroom, and what are you doing? You're going in there and memorizing something real quick. Isn't that the same as studying it? Right? Because you got to bring that knowledge back with you, right? And then reproduce it on a test. So why don't you just do what you're doing in the bathroom at home for like 5 minutes? Because I mean, the reality is that all it's taking is that 5 minutes in order for you to retain that information enough to produce it on a test. That's what studying is. Just do that at home. I don't know. So yeah, those are the ones that come to mind immediately. Oh, yeah. I mean, there's the ones outside of class where it's like the student, gets a 20 out of 100 on all the in-class tests, but then gets a 105 on the one take-home test. So I don't give take-home tests anymore. I'm like, all right, if you're gonna pay somebody to do it, at least tell them to make a mistake or two. Like you don't go from a 20 in class. Oh, I'm a bad test taker. I'm like, nobody's that bad of a test taker that it translates from a 105 at home to a 20 in class. So. Yeah, I mean, there's the standard stuff like that too. One of the GeoGebra assignments. Well, I think this is just stupid. I mean, like you deserve to get a 0 if this happens. Somebody turned in a GeoGebra assignment by copying and pasting the links of somebody else's GeoGebra assignment. 2 things wrong with that. One, I mean, it's a remote possibility that I'll actually notice, I guess. Like, I don't memorize the links, but sometimes I notice. I'll be like, oh, that looks familiar. And then I go looking. But the other thing is, odds are that person put their name on their work. So when I click on the link and it doesn't have your name on it, red flag. Like, I don't know. So yeah, not many examples of successful cheating. Just usual. Well, that's the thing. Yeah, so I shouldn't have examples of successful cheating, right? I mean, one time a student at the end of a school year in the high school, they came to me and they said, "Listen, you check homework every day. Just wanted to let you know, I've been showing you the same assignment all year." And I was like, "Just wanted to let you know, didn't really care." Like, I walked around, I wanted to see writing on paper, and that was it.
Do I know them?
No, it's actually at the other John Jay.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I think Scott did it too.
Oh, really? That wouldn't surprise me because, I mean, in your class, I got to the point where I was like, all right, raise your hand if you didn't do the homework. And then there'd be like two people that raise their hand. I'd be like, all right, I don't know what's wrong with you, but like, all right, 0 for you, 0 for you. The rest of you, full credit, I guess. That happens generally once they get the hint after that. Now I just don't check homework anymore. I don't even care. Seriously. You either do it or you don't. All right, yeah, so that took us down a road. I guess it was a road that needed to be gone down. All right, so anyway, now I mean, we'll go back to 3 in a second, but you get to the point where it's like, now I have the negative j, negative I. You can handle this one of two ways. You could use the properties, or you can right-hand rule it again. All right. I mean, my general rule of thumb is to right-hand rule it if I can. If I can't, then I try something else. Here, it's going to go, I got my index finger going the wrong way, so that's going to point me up towards K. So I'm assuming it's going to be a negative K because I'm going the wrong way. But maybe you're not confident with that, so you go looking for another rule. You get this bad boy here that becomes pretty useful. Right, so you have a constant multiple of, so just focus on one of them, just one of the simplified forms. A constant multiple applied to a vector u that's within a cross product. So you can actually pull that out and make that the coefficient of the entire cross product. So let's take a look at this. Let's just focus on this negative. Now it would become negative j cross negative I. All right, so that's one step in the process. Now you can even verify this. You could say I'm going j crossed with negative I, if it's physically possible. So right-hand rule. All right, it's going in the positive k direction. Negate it, it'll give you negative k. So that feels right. Now I also have, so if I'm focusing on this part of it, I have a constant multiple applied to the other part. If I pull that out, it's now going to become a positive on the outside, j cross I. Which I wrote here somewhere, hopefully, which is this bad boy. So we have a completely visual-based approach to get the answer. You can kind of start going down the route of using the properties, but then going back to visual once you kind of get a handle on it, or you can just go properties all the way. Once you pull out your two coefficients, then it's just a matter of j against I if you have that in your little cheat sheet. So actually, I think I would like numbers 3 and 4 to be swapped, because I feel like this is a better building block problem towards something like this. One isn't bad either, but I feel like this should come first. So if somebody wants that, you can take it. All right. So what that's telling us, so going back to the constant multiple property, is that if you have constant multiples of both terms, so either term, it is going to come out and become a constant multiple of the whole shebang. So let's say I, again, want to focus on just the I. It would be 2 I cross 3j. Then I could pull out the 3. So 2 multiplied by 3. And then I cross j. I cross j we know is k. So this is really the same as 6k. But then we have to cross that against j. Now again, another constant multiple. So that becomes the coefficient of the entire thing, 6 k cross j. There's my k cross j, 6, looks like a g, 6, still looks like a g, negative I, so negative 6i. Yeah, I feel like this. I think somebody got it though. Did all that. Right, complete.